Wonderful. Hello, everyone. I am so ecstatic to have one of my friends, Cordelia Gaffar, coming in to talk to us about creating allyship with Cordelia Gaffar around the Me Too movement. And we just got out of the discussion together with Ingrid about the end of waiting. And we were talking about those aspects of vulnerability is a choice, and it is a courageous choice. And so as we enter into this space, we're going to be looking at that courage and that beauty that we experience. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Cordelia and to Mariana, where we'll be listening in to a very special piece of music.
Moment in time to step into my destiny in leadership without losing my precious love and driven side of myself. I take a stand for the next generation of women to preach tenderness in our hearts and wisdom in our being, knowing this is what will make the difference in sharing the power with men. I vow to lean into the unearthing of all that ain't true in my life. I vow to close my eyes, take deep breaths, often to allow presence cascade down my spine. The revolution starts in relationship. I know as an awakened woman, I live as love without holding back, shutting down without shrinking truth. I burst into a full body yes to the callings of my heart. It's okay to be perceived as destroyed. Many don't understand growth and being seated. The highest expression of my divinity includes my flaws, my wounds, my truest glory. God bless everyone and everything that cracked me open. The world needs more open women.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies. Did you feel that? When we talk about creating allyship, I wanted to begin my talk with music from a dear friend of mine called Tony Jones, and she's an affirmation recording artist. And so this song is called Womb Manifesto. And so I thought, speaking from my wound to your wound, we can connect on that level and talk about the politicizing and sexualizing and objectifying of Black women. As you can hear from this song, that it's not just Black women, it's all women. We feel that collective pain. And I'm here to take a stand to create a new collective consciousness. Because I believe that when we believe together differently, that our spirit can overwhelm that of the spirit that is out there against women. Yes, I'm going to change. Yeah, I'm going to share some statistics and all that too. And I'm going to blend it with real life situations so it makes sense. Because how can you be an ally with someone if you don't feel it within your own cells? This is about creating from a place of cellular connection. You don't have to share the screen because I'm not using slides. So I would really like for everyone to just look at me. So Marina, I don't know if you can take the slides off or not. So, I feel like song brings hearts together, and the lyrics, words, the vocabulary that we use brings our hearts together. So when I talk about collective consciousness, right, a lot of people have been talking about quantum physics recently, and we've all spiritually connected. And so that's our collective energies, and our words create our world. Our words create our vibration. So the words we choose is what's stopping us from connecting. For example, before I dive into statistics specific to Black women, I want to share with you a statistic that we all believe that is completely untrue. We've been told that the number one killer of women is breast cancer. And I'm here to tell you, as someone who is studying to be a holistic practitioner, and I've written a book called Detached Love about how our emotions impact our body. Yes, breast cancer is up there. It's like number 3. And the studies that have been done in Sweden and Germany in recent years actually reveal that breast cancer is more prevalent in women who are in traumatic relationships and have like a lifelong history, probably in most cases from childhood, if not just puberty, through adulthood, where they have been neglected or not been emotionally taken care of. And at the same time, the number one killer of women is heart disease. Which makes sense too, right? Because of course, behind our breast is our heart. And it's the same emotion that is causing the heart disease. And for Black women specifically, in the United States, every 11 minutes, a Black woman dies of heart disease. A lot of us have talked about the effects of COVID and the changes in the family structure. And Ingrid specifically talked about how it pushed the women's movement back about 3 decades. And for Black women, it was even deeper than that, because 84% of Black women are the breadwinners for their family. 27.6 work in a service industry. That means they have to show up in person for their job. And some are nurses. And before the vaccine, they still had to go to work, risking their lives. And 1 out of 4 live below the poverty level. I'll share more statistics later. And with all that, on top of the layers of being the main caregivers and the breadwinners for their family, when they get to work, that is the source of most of their trauma. Okay, so they may have also some trauma at home. And just imagine for 12 to 16 hours a day going to work, worried about losing your job and still being sexually harassed. There's a disproportionate risk of sexual violence. Women actually get raped at work. And if you're Black, it goes like this. If I tell HR, I might lose my job. I might not get a raise. I might get demoted. But I got to keep going to this job because I'm not sure if I can get another job, because this job is so flexible and it's allowing me to do these things. And my benefit, oh my goodness, that 401k has been building up for years. It's all right. Day after day, year after year. And then when it gets too much, you know what? I can't take this shit anymore. It's been like 3 years. When is this guy going to quit his job? Then you tell HR. And it goes something like this. So, okay, Cordelia. So when did this start? 2018. And you're just telling us? Are you sure you weren't in a relationship with him? I'm sure. So what took you so long to say something? Well, you know, my mom was dying and she just died 2 months ago. So now I don't really have to take care of her anymore. And, you know, I figure I can speak up because I don't need as well, you know, it looks to me like this isn't that big of a problem. If you've been dealing with it for 3 years, I mean, just let it go. Do you know who Peter is? So, yeah, that happens. That's not my personal story. My personal story went a little bit something like this. Okay, Cordelia, you're going to miss work for what? So my mom is in a nursing home in Baltimore, and they just called me and they said that she had a pulmonary arrest. And I know that she's probably going to die because when I went there the other night, she was like saying stuff like, you know, you girls need to take care of each other. And I just want to go. You know, you've been missing a lot of work lately. Well, yeah, I told you my mom's dying. Okay, well, can you, when you come back to work, bring a death certificate? Yeah, that happens. That's not sexual harassment, but that's quite traumatic. And no, I didn't bring the death certificate. I said, fuck you, bitch. And you're lucky if I ever come back. And fortunately for me, I had something what is called a constituency with one of the partners of the firm. I worked for a law firm in DC at that time. And she was like, he was like, Cordelia, do whatever you need to do. Take as much time as you need. I'll take care of, you know, the office manager. I said, okay. And that's what it's like. And for some, you know, for all women, you know, going back to creating allyship, there are some things that we have to choose differently. When we see each other, we have to come from a place of connection instead of projection. We all have our shame. We all have our things that we're suffering from. We all have our judgments. And what I've learned, those judgments are really of ourselves. And then we project them onto others. And that ugliness meets the collective conscious ugliness against all women. You know, I am a Black woman, and I'm the mother of 4 women of color because my daughters are mixed race. And I'm the mother of two sons of color, right? And what I teach them is that you have to speak life, not only into your own life, but into the life of others. You can't just say, you know, like for me, self-love is so much bigger than that. Yes, you have to love yourself, but then you have to let that love radiate out and connect with the love of others. You see? So when men are saying things against women, whether they're Black, white, polka dot, zebra stripe, or purple, don't laugh with them. because you, through your judgment, through your self-judgment, I want you to see yourself. Through your self-judgment, through your self-projection, you are believing and agreeing with those men collectively that women ain't shit. You got to stop doing that. The allyship begins at home. This is home. This is home. Speak up. No, women don't do that. That is not true. Women are the creators. Women are the portals between worlds. Women are peace. Women are joy. Speak against the animosity and the misogyny in the world. And I'm not talking about, protesting and marching, right? I live in DC. There are protests all the time, plenty of them. The speech is just in every interaction, every conversation. When you talk to women here today, when you talk to your relatives, when you talk to your neighbors, anywhere you go, be aware of your words. In my book, I talk about sweet talk. This is a phrase that I'm actually working on trademarking. And in the beginning, the sweet talk I was talking about was just that inner conversation. There's been books about the inner mean girl, but it's bigger than that, because your sweet talk has to meet somebody else's sweet talk. Do you know how powerful that is? Our words are prayers. Our words are prayers. What you repeat happens. What you see today, you created that. Take responsibility for that. Own that. Every time you speak, you're praying for something. And, yes, I'm visibly Muslim. I ain't talking about that. Whatever your religion is, the spiritual realm exists. The spiritual realm is the spiritual realm. And your words create your world. Every single thing you see is because you created that. Every time you kick it with your girls and you let stuff come out your mouth sideways, you're agreeing with exactly what you don't want to manifest. Stop doing that. Oh, wait, let me get my composure and get back into the stats. Right. So African-American women are disproportionately at risk of sexual violence in the workplace. Workplace harassment against Black women is rooted in anti-Black, patriarchal, and capitalistic systems. In previous talks on allyship here in L&D Cares, I've talked about economic abundance. And so, another statistic I can share is, because Black women are objectified and not valued, they get paid 63 cents on a dollar. So what that looks like, Equal Pay Day just passed, by the way. So what that looks like is all the money that a white man earns in a year plus September, all of 2020 plus 2021 September, it takes that long for a Black woman to earn that amount of money. Do you understand what I'm saying? Basically, she's getting cheated about $1 million in a lifetime of work. Is that clear? So economic abundance looks like this. I know we've been talking about equality, but equity is what we want, because equity looks like, even though you don't have a college degree, or you may not have, like a couple of letters behind your name, because you've qualified for this job. Everybody who has this job, right? If you're the CTO for a company, they don't look at what school you went to, whether you're black, white, or ugly, and whether you're a man or a woman. They're like, CTOs get paid $500,000 a year. Bam. It's not like, oh, female CTOs get $400,000 a year and black female ones get $300,000 a year. Right? That economic abundance needs to shift. In a talk that I'm doing next week in Amplify DEI, I talk about sexual assumptions of women in the workplace. And one of the things I share is about, let's face it, it's got to be said, our current corporate structure is built on the original corporate structure in the United States and in Europe, which is, yep, you guessed it, slavery, right? Because there was unpaid labor for a very long time. And the Vanderbilts were the biggest planters in Tennessee. And now they have a university. And now they have an avenue on Madison, like in New York City, like in the most elite part of New York City. And they're running a lot of the corporations. In fact, the Rockefellers, we know them, the Carnegies, all of those, that's the corporate standard. So we can sit up here and say, oh, what are we going to do to change policy? Well, I have an idea. Since the policies were originally created in the 1800s, when slavery was ending, when Black women were raped on the regular in the kitchen, right? And, or in the field, or just beat up because she didn't want to have sex. That's where all these policies on sexual harassment came from. Let's see, how can I keep Sally a slave, have her have all my kids, and tell her, I got a good retirement plan for you and your kids. Yeah, Sally Hemings, as in Thomas Jefferson's second wife. So who he had 6 kids by from the age that she was 14, right? And they were able to be free once they were 21 years old, all those kids. So that's what we're dealing with. So yes, does the system need to be dismantled? It does. And the only way we're going to do that is not by complaining about it, not getting angry about it, but just seeing it for what it is. And speaking up into a new consciousness, a new collective belief that all people, check this out, I've heard this someplace, you might have too, are actually created equal. Like we all have flesh and blood and all that. And then we can come from a place of economic abundance. And when we make policies, we can make them from a place of, what's that called? Like respect, like respecting human beings. And then what's that other word called? Compassion, right? So when you have respect and compassion for people and you believe that there's more than enough, because this world, we've got a lot of resources. The time for, just the men get is over, or just the 1% get is over. I want you to understand that yes, I had to put in my title, Me Too for Black women, and creating allyship. Because allyship, it's not a black or a white thing, it's a human thing. We're humankind. And that's all that matters. And so I put together an infographic about how to create allyship. And I also gave a worksheet about, what was the worksheet? Some things that you can start with to do that. So I really want you to take some time and I'm going to tell you something about me. Yeah, I'm a life coach, specifically the emotions opener. Are your emotions opened right now? And I don't believe in journaling. I believe in action. If you think it, it's great to write about it. And what you write down, get up and do it. What you write down, if it's something that needs to be said to somebody else, tell them. We know from COVID last year, you're not going to live forever. And I don't think I've offended anybody in the whole time I've been speaking. So do it from a place of respect, from a place of compassion, and a place of economic abundance. And everything you do, speak to connect, not to project. Can you feel that? And so the way I would like to end is with another inspiring song by my lovely friend, Tony Jones. She actually came out with this song yesterday, and she came to my book launch and she was like, I love your book. This has been a healing for me. And I'm, from a place of genuineness. It's a healing, whether you're a man or a woman. And so the song that I'm going to share that I close out the session with is called Free Me. And again, listen to the words, free me to be me. That was actually the name of my podcast before I ended it, free to be. And so I want you to hear yourself in everything that I've said. Hear yourself, see yourself. How are you participating in the collective consciousness that is pulling us apart, pulling women apart, and making us adversaries instead of allies? See yourself and be somebody different. Do something different. And start with that today. You can play the song.
Free me to be me. I free me to be me. I free me to be me. I free me to be me. I'm godly, I'm thrilling, I'm holy, I'm fearless, I'm wealthy, relentless, I'm winning, I'm living, I'm healing, gets messy, I'm trusting, I'm hoping, so purely, I'm loving, divine me, it's tweaking, you feel me, I free me to be me, I'm dressing, so saucy, I'm vibing, creating, not bragging, not tripping, just joying, and trusting, I'm friendly, so happy, I claim me, I free me to be me. 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 I'm godly, I'm thrilling, I'm holy, I'm fearless, I'm wealthy, relentless, I'm winning, I'm living, I'm healing, gets messy, I'm trusting, I'm hoping, so purely, I'm loving, divine me, it's tweaking, I'm flying, I'm being, I feel me, I'm seeking, you feel me, I free me to be me. I'm godly, I'm thrilling, I'm holy, I'm fearless, I'm wealthy, relentless, I'm winning, I'm living. I am whole, I am whole, I am peace, I am peace, I am love, I am love, I am free. I'm everything that I speak, I'm complete. I'm designing my being by liberating my mind, my emotions, my will and my speech. I watch myself. I listen to my heart. I am mindful about mine. I am whole. I am peace. I am love. I am free. I'm everything that I speak. I'm complete. You feel me? I free me to be me. 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 I'm godly, I'm thrilling, I'm holy, I'm fearless. I'm wealthy, relentless. I'm winning. I'm living. I'm healing. Gets messy. I'm trusting. I'm hoping. So purely, I'm loving. Divine me is tweaking. I'm flying. I'm being. I feel me. I'm seeking. I'm healing. Gets messy. I'm trusting. I'm hoping. So purely, I'm loving. Divine me is tweaking. I'm flying. I'm being. I feel me. I'm seeking. You feel me?
Does anyone have any questions?
First off, Cordelia, you are amazing. Thank you so much. I think the impact and the truth and what you bring is incredible. And I really thank you for holding this session. Truly, it was holding session.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So we have a raised hand. So Amy Herman, if you'd like to come to stage, please join us. Okay. So what I want to do is maybe go over a couple of the quotes. Hi, Amy. I'll be looking at
I'm trying to figure out why I'm not connecting. Sorry.
We can see you.
Okay, well, I just want to support you, Cordelia. That's why I raised my hand. Because I just want to support you. And we all need to work together. If we can't work together, then it's not going to happen. I've had so many people in my career that have been women that I feel like have worked against me. And it's really not a great thing to say, but that's how I see it. And I just know that the only way we're going to change anything is if we support each other.
100%.
100%. Thank you, Amy. Could not agree more.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I just, I live in Texas and we have a governor that I can't stand. Y'all know why. I don't want to see anybody kill their baby, but we can't take that right away. We've got to have rights. We've got to work together. And we've got to at least be cordial to each other, for crying out loud at work.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like me, but just have the basic respect for me as a human being. And that we could go such a long way if we can do that. If we can at least, treat each other with respect, regardless of our personal feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And yeah, how about making policies to stay out of our wounds, right? I say our wombs. So yeah, it's like we should have a choice in all things,
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They'll never let the government regulate their well-being. You know that.
I know. Like how come there's like no law that you must wear a condom, right? I'm just wondering about that.
It seems a lot easier than some of the other things that are proposing. I mean, good Lord.
Well, I just want, when the doctor sees the man, every time he is there, did he get a woman pregnant?
Right?
Yeah.
How about that? They do ask, are you pregnant, or you get a pregnancy test every physical? Why? Yeah. We need to make golden clad or ironclad condoms. How about that?
Love it. That's going to be the quote of the day.
If you wrap that up with some metal, there will be any,
What's the innovation to come out of the Career Growth Summit? We're redesigning the chastity belt, but we're doing it for men. Sorry, apologize.
Well, if people want to do something, they need to support the children that are here.
Yes,
we got
absolutely.
all kinds of kids that need all kinds of love. So let's support the ones that are here and help the mothers that are trying, instead of trying to convince somebody else not to do it.
Thank you.
Use your energy in a positive way.
Amy. Thank you, Amy. Well said. Okay, everyone. Cordelia, thank you. Amy, thank you so much for coming on stage. Thank you to everyone who attended this session, and your inspiration, your heart, everything that you have brought to to the vibe of the energy of how are we connecting together? How are we supporting and seeing one another? And again, thank you so much, Cordelia. So appreciate you holding this space. And we're going to be going in now to the continuation of this discussion with Murray Martin around sound rational, not radical. So how do we dismantle the system? So in a continuation beautifully, as we continue down this journey of allyship and saying, what can we do to create a better world in which we can all adapt, thrive, and flourish? So thank you, everyone.